Hey, folks, it is time for this week's TWiP Pro Photo Critique. We're in episode number 133, Strength. This is TWiP. Hey, welcome back to another TWiP Pro Photo Critique. I'm here with my good buddy, partner in crime, Mr. Troy Miller. We're going to be talking about a topic for the critique that he picked. This is another one of your selections, Troy. Why strength this time? What did you just pull this one out of the air?
No, I thought about it, and I thought, strength is something that everybody kind of perceives differently, as we'll see in the photos, and it's not something that's an absolutely easy thing to photograph, right? Like, it's not like, oh, but the topic is baseball. Well, everybody knows what that is. Everything's going to be interpreted kind of the same. I wanted something that was open, so I like it. That's why.
That's why. That's the main reason.
Yeah, that's it. That's how complicated it got.
Yeah. And we have a ton more coming up. I'm excited. Are you want to just give kind of a review of where these are going in terms of the roll up for the overall critique and all that, at the end of the year and the contest?
Yeah, sure. So what we have is we're going to be doing basically the competitions or the critiques now are going to work in quarters. So we're kind of on our last quarter. At the end of the quarter, we're going to take the winners from each critique, and then we're going to enter them into, say, a proper competition, which, we're going to have a smaller panel. We're going to actually be very critical of the images, and we're going to pick winners, and the winners there'll be some prizes. And, I don't know what it could be, a bag of rocks, or it could be a bag of cash. We're not sure. This is the first run through. So, but there will be a winner at the end. So it'll be fun. And I've got all the topics actually laid out until December 21st will be the last critique. And then the week after that, we'll do the competition.
I'm thinking we make the prize one of the objects on the shelf behind you.
Okay.
Winners should be able to pick anything from behind Troy Miller as their prize. Could be that guitar. Could be
you can't. You can't see the guitar. You can't see that. You can't.
Yeah, anything back there. Come on. I think we have to go in that direction, man. That's it. Well, cool. All right, let's dive into this. And thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us today. This is going to be good. I'm excited to see some of these entries. There's a ton in there. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. And here we go. Let's take a look. All right, there it is. All right. So we're sorting by date created. The first one up is from Mr. Jack Hubs. Jack says, 100-plus-year-old, 125-foot tall ash tree has survived wind, rain, heat, freezing cold, hurricanes, and my care, tall, majestic, and strong. Cool. Let's take a look at that. Look at that.
Yes. That is so cool. Fun. I love ash trees. I made a comment in the Mighty Network. I used to build a lot of staffs and walking sticks from the ash trees because a lot of the branches would grow straight and they smell wonderful. This is a really cool perspective. When we see a big tree, that idea of walking right up to it and looking up into the canopy really shows the mass and size of the tree. So I love that perspective a lot. I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Anything you would change in this shot? I mean, the perspective is perfect. I love the just like this giant tree that has seen more than we will ever see.
Right. I feel like I want to really focus. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe too much foreground of the tree. That white bark. The bark is very bright. Maybe it's just because it's a little bit what I would feel is like overexposed. Right. I feel like we could bring that exposure down, and it would be better. I think I would love to see this in black and white because it would really show off that texture in the bark of the tree.
What would this look like in infrared?
Amazing. Yeah, the sky would go dark. The leaves would go nice and white because they're backlit by the sun. So there's a lot of infrared light in there. And then the shadows in the bark would go very deep and very dark, and you'd have a lot of texture. It would look really cool.
Very cool. Cool shot. Definitely strength for sure. And an ash tree. Yeah, we have ash trees like that in California. Only they're a different kind of ash right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right. Next up is Karen Sweeney. As strong as a. Let's bring this guy.
I don't get it.
Here. Strong as a horse. You don't get that? Come on.
Of course I get it. It's just theory.
All right. It's only a theory that this is a horse. You can't prove it.
You can't prove that she was referring to the horse. She could have been saying as strong as an ox, but didn't have an ox photo, so we have a horse.
You're reaching. I'm gonna put this to Stephen Scharf. Stephen Scharf knows, he's a scientist. He knows the difference between fact and a theory, or if theories are fact and all that. So.
Yeah, you have to be able to test it and reproduce it to be fact. All right.
Really?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a self-taught photographer that has an opinion. I mean, what can I?
But you're saying these things that like they're fact. You got to be able to test and reproduce it in order for it to be fact. Because I can't test that the sun is hot, or that
I don't have to back anything up. That's not how fake news works.
You just say it. Just say it a bunch of times. It becomes true.
Yeah.
I love it. So what do you think of the shot?
I love this shot. This is fantastic. I think that the toning, the black and white toning on this is really well done. I love that sort of not super blacks in the background, kind of that soft. I'm hoping that was intentional. I'm not sure. It could be Mighty kind of doing that to us, but I love that. And the ears are forward and the head is down, so very very complacent, not complacent, but very relaxed look.
Yeah, just sort of serene. What, like, exposure wise, I don't know if it's Mighty or if it's me, but it feels like it's, and I don't know if this is intentional, it feels like it's underexposed, like a half a stop or something, or is it just designed like that?
I'm feeling that too. I think that the whites on the hooves and on the nose, they could come up a little bit, but maybe that's a style, and I'm okay with that. Sort of that soft, hazy morning, soft light kind of look, and I'm good with that. We can see the muscles and the legs and the shoulders and the neck, so it plays really well to strength. This is a shot that was shot with a very long lens, and it's compressed the horse a lot. So I think that the image would be better if it wasn't shot with such a long lens, right? Then we'd have some more dimension.
Yeah,
that's just the downside of a long piece of glass, but maybe you couldn't get close. So,
that's interesting. I wonder, the argument of long glass versus short glass and the compression that you get. Like when put on your portrait photographer hat, Troy. When do you want to compress? Like, when do you want to use a long lens, say in portraiture, versus a medium size or a medium focal length lens, like say a 35 or 50?
Man, there's so many reasons to choose one or the other. First, there's the artistic expression of what you want. The longer glass you use, the more that you compress the scene, so you tend to take dimension out of the scene. So I think like the human face, I think that we tend to look better in portraiture somewhere between an 80 and like a 135 or somewhere in there. Anything longer than that compresses our face, and our ears become the same size as our eyes and our nose, and I don't think we get a lot of dimension. If you go wider, then you get distortion.
Right.
But that's choice, really. I mean, then it comes down to choice.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I use a long lens a lot to pull in things like bushes and trees and backgrounds to hide other objects I don't want to see. So it's a lot. It's a lot easier.
To crop them out, or to blur them out with the bokeh?
Well, to kind of frame my subject. So like you take a shot like this, if I had shot this wider, it's going to grab more of the background. Even if you cropped it as tight around your subject, you're still going to have more background because of the angle of the lens. You might grab a post near it, or you might grab a hole in the foliage. A longer lens allows you to work with a smaller section of background because it compresses it and it pulls it right in. And so it's a great way to isolate your subjects and try to get the best background that you can. I'm a big fan of moving to get the best background for your subject, and long glass can really do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you, when you're shooting your weddings, what I understand is that the 7200, or the holy trinity of lenses, ending with the 7200 and the 24-70 and whatever underneath that. Are you in that camp? Or I hear some photographers say, I just shoot with 85. That's it. 85 only. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stand firm that you can't shoot a wedding with one lens. You gotta, I mean, you can, but it's gonna look the same the whole time. So, and plus, the reason that you want to have like a 70-200 or a 24-70 is because you can't always stand where you want to stand, and get that shot. You need to be able to reach. Sometimes you need to be able to reach, and sometimes you need to be able to pull back. And so maybe it's not the ideal lens for that particular shot if we were to have set it up, but it's the perfect lens because you're able to capture that moment. So it's really about flexibility. I love my 85. I try to shoot with that as much as I can because it throws my background out of focus, right? It goes super soft. And that's what I like a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Me too. I do. I love that. I used to say that, you have with a long lens or with something with crazy shallow depth of field, the world is your background, right? So you could be shooting on a trash heap and you can throw it out of focus. It looks great. So
yeah, and I think that when you're shooting events like weddings, that switching lenses and finding different perspectives is so important in variety. If you only shoot with one or two pieces of glass through the whole day, you're really reducing your opportunity for creativity, right? And if you can't afford more glass right away, that's fine. But ideally, you want to create variety, and you need to differentiate yourself from other photographers. So variety of glass. I mean, on a wedding day, I shoot everything from a 400 millimeter to a fisheye, and all the steps in between.
Wow. See that? Yeah. And that's just your experience talking right there, because some photographers will hear that and get put 6 lenses in their bag. And then at the wedding, they're missing shots because they're fumbling, trying to find the right lens. And they're not intimate with that lens. So they're not sure what they're going to get with it or how it behaves in certain situations. Whereas other photographers are like, you know what? I got 3 lenses. I'm married to these 3 lenses. I'm going to make everything work with these 3 lenses, and like we were saying at the beginning, there's no one right answer to anything.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Different gear.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Karen Sweeney, for that shot. Next shot up is from Craig Stamfley, single origin Colombian strength. Oh, look at that. That makes me want to go refresh my coffee right now.
Ew. I know what it is, but no, I have no interest.
Why?
I can't do coffee.
Oh my God.
No.
What is wrong with you, human?
I know. Tea. I love tea. Margie loves coffee. I can't. I can't do it. I like the smell of brewed coffee. Like if I walk into a cafe or something, I like that. The smell of ground coffee, absolutely not. And I can't do the flavor. Yeah, if it no.
There's something wrong with your taste buds. What was it? Was it the last critique or critique before you revealed your disdain for tomatoes? Right?
Yeah. No tomatoes.
How can anybody not like tomatoes? I don't get it.
It's easy. They're disgusting.
They're delicious.
Nope. Oh. It's right there. Tomatoes and then avocados. Then we work our way down.
So avocados, just avocados, or you can't eat guacamole kind of thing?
No
guacamole.
No avocado. Nope.
Oh, and you
None.
live in California, by the way. I just want to remind
I
you.
know. And that's constantly reminded to me when we used to go out and people would get guacamole and stuff. And I'd be like, yeah, no, it just tastes greasy to me. I can't do it.
Yeah. Inside the mind of spicy Jello. There you go.
I know it's a strange place.
It
Theoretically.
is. Theoretically, it's strange. We'll never know because you can't test it. What do you think of the shot? It looks like Craig did a little solarization here. It looks a little solar.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it big over here. So when you see me turn my head, I'm not ignoring you and reading news or anything. I'm really enjoying the treatment on this because it really makes that chrome feel shiny. And I appreciate the fact that the highlights in the chrome are not blown out because they really shouldn't be. There's a good way to keep detail in there. So I really like that. There's a little bit of haloing around the left. That's probably cappuccino, right? Is that what that is?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah. So there's from the left pour, from the left spout, there's a little halo. I don't know if that's natural or maybe just push the clarity a little bit too far. I wish the handle wasn't coming straight back into the camera, that black handle. You know,
it's distracting.
Yeah. And cropping it, trying to crop that handle out. Oh, Ginger Bearding says espresso. Okay. Trying to crop that handle out. It really doesn't work. I'm going to suggest that it's cropped just to keep the left pour and the left spout to simplify the image. And that's where it's in focus anyway. So the right half really doesn't add to it so much.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I want to see more of the cups. I get what he's doing there. I feel like I want to see more of the cups. I agree with you with the handle kind of coming out and taking my eyes up there a little bit or taking away from the shot a little bit. I just want to be a little, maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a detail shot, maybe it'd be cool just to get like really tight up in here, right? Like right in this area. So just to show the liquid. And can you see my cursor on there? You can't see my cursor.
No, it's not showing up.
Yeah, that's weird. So just to show but if I do like this, you can see it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to show the drip coming out of there, make it more of an abstract versus, okay, you can literally see this cappuccino or espresso, but to, just crop it so that those who know will know and those who don't will be like, what the heck's going on there?
And that's actually a tighter crop than I was thinking. And I actually like that better. And it works because the bottom of the stream is out of focus. So at the bottom of your frame where you're going to crop it, it works because it's out of focus. I think if that stream was tack sharp all the way down, it kind of needs to have a place to end. But yeah, I think your crop would be great, nice and tight, very abstract.
Yeah. Yep. Like it.
It wouldn't. It probably wouldn't fit the strength theme because we wouldn't know exactly what it is, but I think it would make a better image.
Yeah. Yep. I dig it though. Craig Stanfley, I want to know, is this your espresso machine? And how do you feel about espresso? Or more specifically, how do you feel about the fact that Troy Miller doesn't like espresso like the other 99% of the planet?
Sorry. So this is probably going to get me in trouble somewhere. But I dislike coffee so much, and the smell bothers me so much when it's brewing. I mean, it actually affects my head that Margie has to brew her coffee outside on the back patio.
Yeah,
and
that's right. I remember saying that.
I can't. I mean, my head will plug up, and maybe it's just the stuff that she's using, but it's rough. So
wow.
Starbucks is great though. Like I can walk into a Starbucks and it smells amazing, and I just want to sit in there and relax. Like I dig that. Or Dunkin' Donuts, like the smell of donuts and coffee. Like I'm good with that. I'm just saying.
You're digging your "I'm a very strange bird" hole.
That's all right. I just, that's me. That's how it works.
That's okay. That is totally okay. That is okay. More coffee for us. More coffee for us.
Yeah.
Eric Pronsky's up next. Eric says, oh, check that out. Eric says, Street Boxer Havana. Again, please click on the image as feet are cut off. On the photo stream. This is the street image of this delightful man showing off his boxing skills despite his destitution is evidenced by his sandals and dental work or lack thereof. He managed to stay buffed in the arms and enjoyed showing it off. Cool. Let's take a look. Look at that.
Oh man, I love this. This is just so wonderful, and the fact that I think he's smiling a little bit, right? Do you feel like there's a smile in there? You know?
Yeah, I feel it.
So he's having a good time, right? He's having a good time showing off for Eric. So I dig it. I think it's a really fun shot. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, this is cool. Street photography. This is, it's really cool. Have you been to Brazil yet?
Well, that's a loaded question because I haven't.
Well, I don't know. You could have been to Brazil. I don't know your travel habit.
Okay. We're not going to focus anymore on Troy's weirdness. No, I have not been to Brazil, but
because of the plane thing. But you just said you get on planes. You get on planes. You're fine with planes.
I haven't been to Brazil.
Anyway, I have never been to Brazil either. I want to go, but I was reading the story the other day. It was talking about how how dangerous it is for tourists to with expensive stuff like camera gear to be kind of wandering around Brazil, which could end badly for you. So I wonder, how people get shots in Brazil that are amazing and then, get those shots out of the country, because I want to go. I want to go to Carnival. I want to go and hang out.
Yeah.
And be a photographer, but also want to come back. So I want to know how you do that.
Yeah, that I don't know. No, ask Peter. Ask somebody. Somebody's got to know.
Yeah, Peter's probably been there. We could do F-64 live there.
Oh, well, we have to be able to fly first, and we're going to go to Cuba. Rob Knight is going to set us up in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yeah, that's on the list.
Yeah.
Costa Rica is a done deal. As soon as they take the house arrest off Americans, we can go down there and check it out. A cool shot.
So to Eric's shot, I think that my challenge with this image is the background, the foreground, the middle ground. It's all the same focus, right? It's all the same depth of field. The lighting is what it is, right? It's a street shot, and it's hard to control those elements. So what I would love to see done, like with an image like this, is some dodging and burning, and some radial gradient or something. Bring the edges down, bring the face up a little bit, draw our attention into his upper body a little bit. That continuous lighting, probably in shade on a side street or something. Our eyes don't really know where to land. And we need a place to land.
You need a subject beyond the subject, right? A subject of the photo.
Yeah. Watch whoever's watching this. Go and watch Low Base Guy, who's Joshua in the TWiP community. Go watch his stream, how he edits, and whether you're editing a crocodile or a butterfly or a snake, it's the same thing. You need to bring focus into your subject, dodging and burning, background, foreground, bring out highlights, push down shadows, direct the eye.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. All right. Moving on to our next shot. That was Eric. Yeah, thanks, Eric Pronsky. Next shot is from Stephen Scharf. Okay, and this is Cabriolet, dancer Stephanie Kim.
Yeah, so I looked this up to see what that dance move is, so I could understand.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so very, very cool shot. Wonderful timing. I just love that. I love the style, the ballerina pose, the fingers, the wrist, the bend, the toes pointed, and the fact she's off the ground. So great timing. Yeah, this is
look at those calf muscles, man. Look at that. It just
Oh
makes me,
yeah.
I just feel inadequate looking at that.
Well, I looked this up. So this is a leap where they bring their legs together, right, and kind of like click their legs together or whatever you want to call it, and then they have to land. So all this is part of a bigger movement, but this is actually that style of movement. So it's really amazing to watch it live happen. So great capture, Stephen, to get it at that moment.
Yep. And people in the community know, but many may not know that Stephen Scharf used to dance like this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't really know what else I would suggest with this image. I mean, I like he's burned down the background. It's nice and dark. The subject is popping out. Some of that stuff in the background is distracting, but that just happens to be where he had to photograph it. So
yeah. No, I love it. I like the curve. Let me bring her up again. I like the curve of the body.
mm-hmm.
I like the way that he's you can see the very intentional crop on there of
right.
how he sort of brings her around this way, right? And he's got a very slight vignette, which is not heavy-handed. The background gives it a sense of place in my head, right? So it doesn't necessarily need to be black or on a stage or something for it to be effective. And it's all about the subject, which is popping out, as she should be popping out. And he's captured it with an appropriate shutter speed to freeze her motion. It's all very much done with intent.
Yes.
And we can argue about this till the cows come home, Troy Miller. But the border and the key line, I still don't think every shot needs a border and a key line. I just don't, but it's subjective, and it's my opinion is just a theory. So
right, yeah, it's just a theory that you have an opinion.
It's just a theory that I have an opinion. But no, I love the shot. I love her expression on her face, the whole 9 yards. Stephen nailed this one as usual. Yep. I'm glad he's submitting shots like this because Steve and I had a little bit of a chat a couple of weeks ago, back and forth about. He because he has intimate knowledge with this art form, dance, and he's a photographer. It just seems like an imperative that he would, cross the streams and shoot, since he knows how to capture and what he can probably preempt what these dancers are going to do before they do it in position. And he knows what settings he needs to be at because they're going to do this particular thing, which is going to require a faster shutter speed or not. And it seems like, it's like shooting motorsports and you know where the car is going to be. So you position yourself there.
Right. Exactly. You got to know. Got to be able to see the future.
Exactly. Yeah. Skate to where the puck's going to be.
That's right.
All right. Next shot. Thank you, Stephen. Next shot is from Armando Brook. He says, "No way this is true, but happened." I see what he did here.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
that is cool.
I kind of wish he hadn't rotated the image, to be honest. I think it would have been, for me, it would have been so much stronger that I didn't have to try to figure out what's going on because it doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out, like, is the guy on the right holding on to a handle? Like, is the gentleman on the left, like, is he in motion and that's how he's there? Mm-hmm. But it would seem that, he's actually balanced on the end of his arm. If we rotated it, properly or the way that it was shot, I feel it's much more powerful at that moment, knowing that he's holding him up like that. Like, dang, that's cool. But, that's just my thought on it.
Yeah, it's subjective. It's creative. I agree with you. I think the composition of the photo vertically, which is the way, I'm assuming it is intended, or nature had it, right? So the composition vertical is strong. It's really strong on its own. And to have all that weight coming down on that one arm of this guy, and you see the veins popping out, and that, and the muscles bulging on the guy on the right on his arm that's holding up the other guy, all that is just strong. I think rotating it and displaying it on its side, I see what he's trying to do, where this guy on the left looks correct because he's horizontal and it feels like he's flying through the air, and it kind of creates a sense of like, what the heck is going on here? I think, yeah, like you said, Troy, I think it takes away from the overall composition where you're forced to kind of do that math and go, oh, okay, he rotated it. Oh, well, now what's going on in here? Versus if it was vertical, you're like, I know exactly what's going on here, and you could focus on the fact that the artist, the photographer, is trying to demonstrate strength.
Right. And there's telltale signs in this image that give it away, like the suspenders on the gentleman to the left. His suspenders are hanging down. And so those are little things that make me feel like, what's going on? What is the artist trying to tell me in this image? Yeah. With all that said, it's an amazing image. I mean, I love the look on their face. They're not super concentrated, right? They're not giggly and smiley. They're calm. And that to me is an addition to the strength part of it, because they're not straining, and it feels like it looks like it's effortless. It's obviously not, but they make it look like that. So
yeah. Yep. And which is the art, right? Is to do these crazy kind of moves that to the rest of us look impossible, but they're able to do it and make it look effortless.
Yeah. I mean, not only is the guy on the right doing a side plank, but he's doing a side plank holding another guy up. I mean, wow, that's amazing.
Crazy. That is.
Yeah.
Humans.
Yeah. Good capture, good crop. The rotation is just a little bit confusing, but really good. Represents strength really well. Definitely represents the topic well.
Yep. Very good. Thank you, Armando. Okay. Coming up next, James Glenny. James is in the chat, I believe. Hopefully he's still in there.
Gingerbearding.
He says, my favorite strength built up over 16 years. Yeah, that's a different kind of strength right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's a great shot.
Do you know what is this whiskey? This is whiskey, Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
Are you a whiskey drinker?
I do. Yeah, I like Scotch. Scotch whiskey, not whiskey or bourbon. I like Scotch. So yeah, and Lagavulin is a tough one for me, because depending on which one you get, it can go from very peaty, which is kind of a heavy smoky flavor, to less so. I'm not big on the heavy smoky flavor. So, I don't know that I've ever had this one. So, nice. But looks like a healthy pour. I like that.
Well, is it before we talk about the photo itself? Is it from a whiskey drinker's perspective? Is it better to have it without ice in it, or should he have a nice big block of cube ice in there?
So proper, good quality Scotch whiskey does not need ice. Ice just dilutes it. So I appreciate the fact that it's in a proper sniffer, and that there's no ice. That's how you should drink it. Anything that requires ice, it probably wasn't very expensive. Or it just doesn't, it's too strong because it's the alcohol. So a little bit of water can offset that. But it comes down to your palate, right? It comes down to what you need and what tastes best for you. So I actually prefer my Scotch cold, but not with an ice cube in it. I have ceramic cups that I've made, and I'll drink it out of that, and it keeps it nice and cold. I like it cold, but.
So you're telling me that all these years of drinking my Jack Daniels with ice in it, I'm doing it wrong?
No, you're drinking Jack Daniels. It needs ice.
It needs all the help it can get.
It's Jack Daniels.
I knew you were gonna say. Somehow I knew you were gonna turn your nose up at my Jack Daniels, man.
No, it's bourbon. I am not a fan of bourbon. I like it, but that's why you have Jack and Coke. Is it needs
the kickstand.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the shot. What do you think about the shot? He's got the, and I admire these kinds of shots, because these aren't these aren't easy photographing reflective surfaces. It requires a lot of intent, and you can see James put intent in here with the way he's positioned the highlight along the side of the, as Troy Miller called it, the sniffer, on the left and the right of the sniffer, and the giant highlight coming down on the bottle itself. We're losing the bottle off to the right. So I'm curious what you think about that from a photographic standpoint, Troy. Should he have put a little fill or popped another light over there so that you can see some definition on the other side of the bottle, or is it good like this?
It's nice and dramatic like this, and I'm kind of okay with it. I wish that there was a little bit of light on the right side, like you said, just a little kicker to separate it, kind of like what we see in the glass. So the right side of the glass has that highlight, and that's really nice because it shows us the shape and the edge. We don't see the shape of the bottle on the right hand side, which is kind of a bummer. It'd be nice to see that. Also, when you're photographing a bottle like this and you have that highlight up the left side, you want that highlight to continue all the way to the top. And there's a break in it, which I'm guessing that's like probably 2 windows or something. I'm guessing that's what that is. So that's why there's that gap in there. So we really would want that highlight to continue, and that shows off the shape of the bottle really well. My only other nit would be that the top of the bottle is out of focus. So you really want to make sure that you keep that in focus from top to bottom. So
yeah.
But I do like the image and the fact, and we go back to the whole ice thing in the glass. If this is a commercial shoot for this particular product, they probably would not want to show their product off with a ball of ice in the cup. So I feel like this is sort of true to the brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ginger Bearding says, where'd he go? He says flat panel light. Yeah. There you go.
But not high enough. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a tutorial on was it Pro Edu? Pro Edu. Yeah, the Rob Grimm, I think it's still up there. I'm not sure if it's still up there since they've gone through some structural changes over there. But Rob Grimm had a free tutorial up there on product photography of beer and glass and this kind of thing, where he kind of revealed a bunch of little insider tricks about how to get, what those kind of photographers use to get condensation on the glass. And, if you have to do a pour, how do you do a proper pour, to get it to do the right thing, and all the different tricks. It's really, even if you're not into this kind of photography, it's really interesting at the tricks that go into making something look as effortless as Ginger Bearding James did here. It's not, talk about photographing with intent, right? This is the definition of photographing something with intent.
Yeah. Look up hatchet lighting. Joel Grimes made it very popular for his sports photography and commercial photography for a long time, but basically hatchet lighting is really amazing when you're working with something like this, because you're not actually lighting the glass because it's reflective. You want to get a reflection of the light in the glass. And that style of hatchet lighting from the back off to the angle would really, really work well with bottles like this. And the thing, Ginger Bearding, is that, of course, when you photograph them, you have to fill a glass and then you can't pour it back in the bottle. So you should always go back and try to rephotograph these and, make little changes. Yeah.
It's hard because you got to get it right in the first couple of shots, because you can't, it's alcohol abuse. If you pour that alcohol out, you got to consume it, right?
Yeah. Ginger Bearding, maybe what you should do is you should stream that you're photographing the bottles. And then the first hour, it's like all really good. And the last hour, it's just you sitting on a stool talking with your...
He's like kind of off in the weeds now. He's like, he started with photography and he ends with, you know what? This is where my life is right now. Let me tell you guys.
Yeah. This is my favorite kind of brick to use when I'm building a fire pit.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is cool. You should try to get Rob Grimm to pop out for F64 when you kick that off. That'd be good to have him there to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
If we
product
can have it, yeah.
hmm Yeah, yeah. Assuming, I'm talking like 2023 when the world opened up to.
Oh my gosh, that's so hurtful.
I know. Hey, ask Michelle or any of our Australian friends. You think we have it bad here?
I know.
Those guys are literally on house arrest.
I
So
know. I know. I know.
it's
Oh,
craziness. The world.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Thank you, James Glennie. Good work, man. And thanks for popping into the mixer. I want to see more of you in there. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that big chair, the crazy Maine Coon cat running around.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, next up is Mark Harris. Mark Harris says, where is it? Strength, the support of a local freight line railroad bridge. Oh, yeah, that's strength for sure. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be around long after we're gone.
Yeah. No kidding. Unless gets hit with thermite or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
These are always really fun shots. I always really love photographing this type of imagery and the shape and the abstract nature that's there. So I'm totally down. I dig these kind of shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, these architectural shots. It's interesting when you look at these with all the sort of the geometrical details in there. Would this be better if you pump the contrast up and really lent into the details of it, or is it better kind of on the low contrast side, like he's got it here? I don't know.
I think for an image like this that is so abstract in nature and so angular, that having additional contrast, or really the highlights in this are fine. So what we need to do is push down the shadows. I think it would add some more drama and more depth. And I think for me, it would certainly feel meatier. I would feel there's more to the image. I'm not a huge fan of flat tone. It does work in the right situation. I feel like this one, it really just needs more punch. The challenge with an image like this is, unless I read the caption, I don't know what it is. I can guess, but it could be anything. I don't know that it carries a train.
Yeah. But I mean, it's strong. It could carry pretty much anything. So it fits in the category. Rivets and steel are inherently strong.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah, this is cool. I think I want to, like, looking at this image, like, my brain, not to say it's right, my brain went like you like interruptions, and I like perpendicular. Like, I'd want to see it like straight on and parallel lines, like fix the perspective so that everything is just sort of right angles and straight on. And I think that would lend more to strength as well, just to see the right angles and the non oblique angle on it. I don't know.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I think in an image like this too, there's so much going on that, again, what's my subject? Where do you want me to look as the creator? Is it just the whole frame? And if it's the whole frame, you have a lot of distractions. That top left corner, there's a highlight on the left side, like at 9 o'clock. It doesn't feel quite straight and square, and I'm not quite sure. Shallower depth of field and more balance and symmetry for subjects like this.
Or even like we saw in the tree image at the beginning, right? Get down low and lean into the fact that this is a support, and have it vanish, go up into the vanishing point, and emphasize that this is holding up something, and it's going up into the distance, which would definitely say strength, right?
Right. Yep. Right. No, I agree.
Lovely. Mark Harris. Thank you, sir. Lamb is up next. And I'm not going to read all this, but he says, my entry for a theme strength. This is a Penang Bridge. That's too much. Let's take a look at the shot.
Nice. He did note that those are real clouds. He didn't add those. So
yeah, I wonder how Luminar would have done that if it could have handled those supports.
I don't know. I really like the shot. I mean, I love all those diagonal lines on the right and the shadows repeating on the ground. I really like that. That's like my favorite part of this whole image is you could almost crop off the right half of the image right down the middle of the road and leave just the left tower, the left supports, and the shadows they create. And to me, that's where the image is. I love that right there. Nice and clean.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. Is it me? I'm feeling like this is low resolution. Like I see a lot of noise in those cables at the top, and like if you look close, I see like I don't know if it's solarization, but it reminds me of like remember those old cameras that were trying to create resolution where there was none. It kind of feels like I don't know. Do you see that at all, or is it just me, or is it just Mighty or Twitch?
No, it's definitely low resolution. In his comment, it was taken with a car cam. So it was
okay, that's it. Yeah, I have one of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, so he pulled it off of there, which is fine. I mean, it just goes to show you use the camera that you have with you. So I think it's super cool. But definitely cropping off that right side a little bit. I don't think we need those right cables, if those are cables or whatever I think they're cables. And really kind of focus on that left side.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I have one of those in the car too. It continuously records what's in front of the car and what's behind the car, and we call it affectionately the settlement cam.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Sorry. Yeah, I dig this too. I like the geometric patterns in this. The shadow at the base of it is a little bit distracting, but then again, maybe not, because the shadows that are growing out of that base shadow make sense because it kind of ties it all together. You just got a series of geometric patterns in there. Right. I know Lamb couldn't control this, but I wish that cloud was symmetrical and moved to the left a little bit. It's just my OCD. I want that cloud like right in the middle of the frame. So. There's no way to move it easily. So,
Yeah.
But no, cool shot. Very fun. And bravo for using, the camera that you have with you, right?
Right.
Yep. All right, Lamb. Thank you, sir. Moving right along. Next shot is from, who's this guy? Joshua Sommerfeld. Joshua says, with one of the strongest strength to weight ratios of the animal kingdom, ants can carry 50 times or more their body weight and have neck muscles capable of supporting 5,000 times their body weight. Wow, nice. I like that. I like the little definitions.
Yeah. Well, I watched him edit this on stream, so it was fun. We were bouncing ant facts back and forth. And so just a little ant trivia. If you took all the ants on the planet and weighed them together, they would weigh the same as if you took all the humans and weighed them and put them together. So
wow, and that's just ants. What if you threw cockroaches in there?
That's a lot of ants. Yeah. That's a lot of ants, right? Like
that is
same biomass between ants and humans. So
wow.
But I love the shot. I really do. And I like that shallow depth of field and the use of composition, right? Like I feel like I'm just as close to this guy as I want to get. And so that space on the lower left gives me that safety barrier, right? Like it feels like that's the appropriate distance that I want to have from this giant beast.
Yeah. And the cropping is perfect on this. I mean, he's, nailed the lower third, the perspective that this is shot, and you got that moss or the sort of the wood organic surface underneath the ant. It's kind of at an angle, which is kind of going up the frame and slowly falling out of focus. And then we get to our subject, which is in the upper right rule of third up there, hanging out, looking back down. So yeah, he's got it nailed. He's definitely got the composition nailed on this.
Yeah, for me, I am not a huge fan of foreground elements that are out of focus when they're stacked right on top of a background that's in focus. And what I mean by that is that that foreground ends kind of sharply at an object that's out of focus, and that's just the way that they were stacked. if it was a clean foreground and it gradually fell out of focus, I would feel better about it. It feels like something is sticking out at me. Maybe that's that branch or something. It feels like there's a lump there that I want to kind of remove. So I would probably crop off that out of focus branch or whatever that is in the foreground, and then burn the foreground in a little bit more to sort of create the edge of the frame. I think we could do without that lower lump, whatever that piece is there.
Yeah. To your point about ants, the sum total of their biomass being more than humans. Low Base Guy says no, they were way more. That's crazy. So does that make Ant-Man the strongest Avenger then? Since he's in control of all these guys, I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's where my brain goes. Sorry about that. Cool shot though. I'm a fan of this. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, nice and sharp. The mandibles, is that what they're called? The mandibles on the ant. Yeah. They're in focus. The face of the ant is in focus. The eye is in focus, and that's important, right? Because that's where we look. So,
yeah. Good job with Anthony. All right, next shot up. Thanks, Joshua. Next shot is from Nora Zanotis. Nora says he can kill with the swipe of his paw. Jeez, yeah, that's some power right there. Look at that.
Yeah, and
that's
I love the fact that the bird is in there because it gives it some scale.
Mm-hmm.
That is a large beastie right there. That is a big animal.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah, one swipe of that paw and you look like his dinner right there.
Yeah, no, it's a great shot. I love the composition, the square. I think that works really, really well. I feel it's a little tight on the left. I know maybe if you were going to keep that perfectly square, then I would bump the frame to the left a little bit. I like the presentation. I like the key line. We got the best light that you could get on them. It's not like you go out there and do much, but a little dodging and burning to kind of bring out the polar bear would help.
I don't mind the cropping that much actually, because I don't mind the cropping at all. Actually, I like the composition of this. I think I could see where she was going when she's editing this, because you had to make editorial decisions on, do I want to zoom? Do I want to be out far enough to give context to where the bear is, and does that matter? But if I do that, I lose the bird, and there's less emphasis on the kill. Mm-hmm. Or do I crop in so that there's more likelihood that the viewer will see the bird? Because I had to, the bird popped out later. I had to oh, there's a bird in there, So if it was a wider shot, I probably would have lost the bird entirely. So yeah, it's right. These are editorial decisions we make when we're cropping.
Right. And I also appreciate the fact that I can see all four legs on the polar bear. And I know it might not seem like a big deal, but it creates balance in that object or that creature or that person, right? To be able to see all four pillars and see that stance. So
yeah,
good angle. Yeah, I like it a lot. Maybe black and white. Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah. Hey, speaking of black and white, what in an area like this that's all reflective and white surfaces like this, what happens to infrared? Does it just go completely dark and everything's black out there, or what does it look like?
Yeah. So if you're just talking like the snow and something, if the sun is hitting it, it's all going to go the same exposure because it's infrared. It's like photographing it in bright sunlight. The same thing in once the sun goes down, there's no infrared. It's going to go dark. You're going to have a hard time. You're losing your light basically. Now you will get differences if there is any kind of infrared still in the atmosphere. So the water might be a little bit different color, a little bit different shade. I've never seen a polar bear shot in infrared, so I don't know. He's got black. Yeah. His skin is black, right? So that would probably absorb. I'm assuming that it was just going to absorb, but the fur may illuminate from the infrared. So I don't know. That would be interesting. That'd be interesting to know. Be interesting.
Yeah, I have to look around. Maybe there's some shots of, maybe it won't work at all. Maybe it's just like, it's a non-starter.
Yeah, animal fur tends to illuminate a little bit because fur and hair is translucent, so the light tends to come back out of it. So I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that. All right, let's bounce off of that one. Thank you, Nora. Very cool. Hey, Timber Geek's in here. Timber Geek's a new member in the community and has been in the TWiP community in one way or another for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Timber
I
Geek
love
says,
that.
my entry for strength could also been for the previous critique as it features one of my favorite toys. Oh, nice. Cool. Look at that beast.
That is cool. And I just noticed that that rear bucket is holding a stump. I didn't see that at first. I thought it was just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
But now I can see that it's holding a stump. So that's very cool.
Yeah, that's strength for sure.
Yeah, that is very cool. These are one of those kind of shots where my brain starts looking at it and thinking, okay, this is what I see when I stand here, but how do I want to move so I can tell the story that I want to tell?
Mm-hmm.
And is the story that I want to tell, look at this amazing tractor, right? The Kubota, like look at this thing. Well, that's the whole thing. But if I want to look at a particular feature, I would move in and I would shoot wide or I would shoot tight, those type of things, And there's so much stuff going on in this frame. What is it that I'm really supposed to look at, right? Like, where's the light drawing my eye, or where's the focus drawing my eye? We need some
Capture
intention.
One in a shot like this. Say if you brought the raw file for this shot into Capture One, you could target the greens of that foliage, right, and then bring its values down or desaturate it a bit and then target the oranges on the Kubota and bring those out so that you have more separation, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that would be a great technique. Darken the background, bring up the light on the tractor itself to make it stand out, because right now it's all kind of in the same tonal range, even though we see two different colors. And that's what's creating separation now is color. If you were to turn this to black and white to desaturate it, you would see very quickly that they blend together. The tones would be very similar and you'd lose the tractor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So Good Dogs in the chat is asking about the focus, and Moose at 408. Craig's saying that, yeah, it is in focus. And I think there's kind of weird compression happening. Going through the Twitch compression, which always happens whether it's going through Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's just the way it is. I will say it doesn't look like we have critical focus on the tractor. It looks like it, maybe it's just a lower resolution file or it's been over compressed, but I'm not seeing critical focus somewhere that is really tack sharp. So that's always that's always hard to see. But either way, the balance within the image and the foreground, middle ground, background, that creates depth and things like that.
And to play along with the theme of this strength, this critique, to your point of composition, and what's the subject of this shot? So obviously at first glance you look at it, your eye says, oh, this big orange monster, is obviously the subject. And it's strong, so strength. But I would, if Timber Geek had changed position a little bit and went in closer to say that stump and shot it from like a low angle, showing that in other words, making the stump the hero or the subject of the shot, and the fact that this giant machine can lift it with no problem, so that the stump and the action of grabbing the stump is the subject of the photo, and then the co-star is the rest of the Kubota, and then doing the technique of kind of knocking the values down on the trees in the background. I think, it would have played more into strength. Because like you said, the second you saw the truck, and then you saw the stump that it was carrying. It should, in my opinion, should have been the reverse. You see the stump, like, holy crap, what's holding that thing up? And then you see the truck.
Right. And there's also another element that's happening here, and that is, Timberlake clearly understands the strength of this vehicle, right? Like, in his mind, he looks at this thing and he knows what he's done with it. But for the rest of us, we don't know. So is when he looks at this image, he sees the strength because he knows how it works. We don't. So in to communicate that, depending on your audience, you need to show that. So it's just like, I've got my cousin's a farmer, and when he looks at farm equipment in photos, he sees something completely different. He's like, oh no, look at that combine. Look at this thing. Like, that's new. And I just see a really cool green tractor, different audience. So,
yep. Yeah, it reminds me of my grandfather. Used to go down and visit them in Mississippi, and we'd be driving around, and he would see John Deere tractors and get excited over them. Like a new John Deere tractor, you get excited over them, like I would get excited over like a Tesla or a Porsche or something. He's like, "Oh man, look at that! That's amazing! I want that one day."
Right, exactly, and that just sort of highlights the idea that as artists or visual communicators, that we have to think about not only how we perceive the thing, but how our audience is going to perceive it. And do we have the same assumptions about that subject matter? And and
it's also like what the shot is for. Like in this shot, for example, is the shot about deforestation, in fact, which you'd get a different perspective on it, or is the shot, an advertising shot for Kubota, which then you want a different perspective, or there's different ways of telling a story.
Right. Now, I was just going to go there, because depending on your audience, I mean, if you showed this to somebody who's a hardcore conservationist, they're going to be offended, right? Like, oh my God, you got to let the baby seal out of the claws of the tractor. How dare you do that? But so many different things play into our photos and stuff.
Yeah, it's stories. It's all about how you tell the story and who you're telling the story to, and the story you're trying to tell.
Right.
So,
right.
Very cool. All right, we're almost through these, unfortunately.
I want enough property where I need a tractor.
That was the last one. Actually, Craig said he had a late entry. Let me reload the site here.
There was one more.
Was there another one? They created
Peter Levshin.
That one.
There you go.
Oh, that one, Peter Levshin. Yo, you know what? I skipped that one because we talked about it so much in the member mixer. I felt like I'd seen it already.
Yeah.
Okay, Sony A7R2 infrared colored. You need strength to move. Peter Levshin trying to get me to say that. He's trying to get me to say that in the critique, and you lost, my friend. You lost. This is a cool shot. Yeah, Craig Hovind was there for this. This is Craig's shoot, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is great. I love this image so much. This is wonderful. Yeah. It's hard to believe that it's Peter's.
Yeah, I knew you couldn't let it go by. There's no way you could give Peter Levshin a compliment without putting sort of string on it.
No. And I was teasing him the other day. I'm like, hey, you haven't called me in a while. Like, you got Capture One and stuff all figured out. Like, and it is amazing when you work really close with somebody and you see their growth. And I've seen Peter's quality of imagery just over the years just grow so much. And I feel proud, right? Like my buddy, I've never seen this image before. He went and shot it, edited it, created it, matted it, put it out here, and it's awesome. So
yeah. Well, tell me what you think about the shot, since Peter, you love to play with Peter's emotions on his photos. What do you think of it?
I love it. I think it's exquisite. It's phenomenal. My only challenge with the image is that the tones or the coloring have been pushed maybe enough that it's creating some banding, or that could just be the way the cove is, where you got that light band across
Yep.
the middle above the water line, and then you've got the darker wall.
Mhm.
I would blend that. Like I would really try to get that to be a continuous tone all the way up.
Like a gradient. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would bring the highlight up on the ball just a little bit, because for me, I would really want to see the ball as the hero, and then that human form is kind of the secondary subject, right? So right now the highlights are the same throughout the whole image. So I would just bring up the highlight on the ball a little bit, make the background continuous and smooth, and enter this one in competition, Peter, for the next competition. Yeah. Or maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he did enter it.
I wish they, Craig, you got to let us know if there's some behind the scenes shots of this, because you guys were going on and on about the location being kind of, the hills have eyesy, I kind of want to see what the actual location looks like where this was created, because this is fantastic. This reminds me of I don't know if you remember this, Troy, but the TLC music video from back in the day, Waterfalls. They were standing in a pool of water like this, dancing to that music video.
Yeah, I don't remember. I will add though, I really like the ripples around the human form, right? Around the model. I really like that. Mm-hmm. And I think it would have been, I think it would be obvious to try to make the water really, really, really smooth. But I love that. It's like framing that spot, I think that's great. That's a huge part of this, of what I like, is the ripples, and that's the source of the ripples.
I agree. Yeah, because without the ripples, your brain could automatically, or could plausibly go to, oh, this is just a statue, and they snapped a picture of a statue, but you see that movement and you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's life there. There's some life there. So
yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
All right. See, I got a message from Joshua. You texted me saying that this image might be moving into Twitch, naughty territory. And that's the thing. How can this be bad? There's nothing bad about this. Like, I don't know. What do you have to do? What do you have to do, Twitch, in order to make this not a dangerous image? Like paint a bikini line on there?
I don't. Remove the head. It's not a human.
Yeah, take the head. It's not a human anymore. Put some wings on it. Now it's no longer a human, or a tail. Now it's not a human, so it's good. So weird. But cool shot. Very cool shot. I think this is probably one of my favorites. Of this group.
Definitely.
And last but not least, our late entry from the Moose at 408 is this guy, Lyra in the Rain. Look at that. Wow. Talk about strength. See, these folks that are doing this, and like Renee Robin and her Shibari series that she's working on, and a shot of that was Armando put in there of those guys, and Stephen Scharf with the ballet performer. These are just phenomenal humans in exceptional shape, and they just make this kind of stuff look effortless, and makes me feel so inadequate.
Yeah. No, I love this. I love the color of this. I like that purple. I think that's fantastic. All the negative space below her is also very appropriate, right? Like it really
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you're very high off the ground, those kind of things. My only nit is that I want that rope to be dead center horizontally across the top, and it's not. It's moved a little bit to the right. But other than that, I mean, that's awesome. That is, the pointed toes, the grip, the lighting. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I like it. Very cool, man. Craig Colvin. I'm curious. Craig's in the chat. Craig is in the chat as Moose at 48. I'm wondering where this was shot at. Was this a staged shoot, or was this at some event that you happen to have the appropriate lens to capture it? Like, did you make this, or was it made and you just you captured it? I'm curious because either way, it's exceptional. Oh, he chimed in. Look at that. He says it was stage shoot. Very nice. Very nice.
It's Bravo. Yeah, Rain Machine in a studio. That's nice.
Oh wow! Seriously? See, I was looking at that background thinking it was like, some kind of sequin curtains or something back there. That's actual rain in the studio. That makes it even killer. More killer.
Yeah, which makes things slippery, which makes water's running in her eyes and up her nose. I'm sure, like all the challenging things. Her hair is wet. Yep.
Oh, see, now I get it. See, I just thought this was this could have been just a performer at a Cirque du Soleil or something that you had good seats at, and you had they let you bring your camera in and you got the shot. But the fact that you built this shot makes it all the more impressive.
Right. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, it's very neat. It's very neat.
Yeah. And Good Dog says water versus electricity. Yeah, not good bedfellows, or they like each other too much. That's the problem with the water.
Right.
Water and electricity. Very cool. All right, so we gotta pick a favorite out of all these. What do you think? There's a lot of good shots in here.
I really love Peter's. I that to me is just such an amazing image. It has all the elements. I feel strength is in the ball. And I feel like there's a timidness and a weakness in the subject that's next to it. Not really a weakness, but a less strength, right? Like maybe not even that you're trying to push it, but just sort of like this understanding, like this ball is big and powerful. And then the simplicity, the symmetry, the coloring. I love that color. I'm not a big blue fan, so I wouldn't have gone this direction, but I like it. It makes it feel a little bit more draconian or darker and dystopian. I love all that stuff. So
I know you love that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. When I saw that figure, I thought about what was that? What was that movie? Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
Remember the GIMP? That was it.
Yeah.
This is the GIMP suit, GIMP in the basement.
Yeah. I think it's great. I really do. I mean, it's just such a great image and so well done. So
yeah, good job. All right, Peter Levshin, you were this week's favorite. Awesome.
And he's not even here. What the heck?
He's not. He never shows up. He even shows up to our mixers late. Come on.
He's a busy guy. Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's busy. What is he doing? Running a business? Come on.
Yeah.
Peter's one of those people that I can't imagine ever streaming on Twitch. Right? Because he's like so busy. I can't see him taking like 3 hours out of his day to stream, even though it would be highly entertaining to just hear him in there with that crazy, cantankerous Australian guy persona.
But here's the thing with Peter. That man is full of stories. Yeah. He could just literally start in the top of the folder in 2018 when he went to Singapore and just talk for 4 hours and go through images and just tell the stories about the images. And his stories are amazing and the imagery is amazing. And he could do it. He could totally do it. He's full of the energy and yeah.
It would be highly entertaining at the very least.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. What's our topic for next week?
Our next topic is smoke.
Smoke. Oh, that ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
California photographers have I
did not plan that, just so you know.
But on the other hand, that's kind of the obvious play for the California photographers to take a shot of some smoky atmosphere. So think creative. Let's see what you got out of the box.
Yeah, make your own smoke.
Yeah. What are some suggestions, Troy? You're the master at fire and that sort of thing. What are some suggestions for folks to get into it?
If you have a smoke machine, you can play with those. Those are really quite amazing. Basically, take your smoke machine, get yourself a giant Amazon box, a cardboard box, blow the smoke in there and cut holes in it, or open up sections and watch how the smoke comes out. It'll wisp and do all kinds of really cool, crazy things. That's one thing you can do. Blowing out candles, lighting something and putting it out, you get nice little wisps of smoke. But think about how to put it in the context of a story, not just the smoke itself. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you could go to shop or sites like Pexels, PEXELS.com, which are those free stock photography sites are one of them, and just sort of put in your keywords, smoke or fire or something like that, and get inspired by some of the shots you see there, and use that as a jumping off point for your work. So
Gingerbirding is saying another shot of scotch. Yeah, something that's a little smokier flavor. But
don't take it literally. Yeah. So what's a non-literal interpretation of smoke?
I would say with any subject, look at what is the obvious way of photographing that subject, and then challenge yourself to photograph it differently. Like with the smoke machine, there's lots of photos of plain white smoke backlit with strobes. Try to mix colors in there. Try to hide a subject in there somewhere. Project an image on the smoke and then photograph. I mean, try to break all the rules. Try to find something different
and be creative. And smoke machines on Amazon are cheap. So
they're very inexpensive, and they're cool for lots of things.
Yep. Yeah. And get the safe kind, but you could, or those dry ice machines as well. If you want to lay a bed of fog below your subjects in the house and then have people standing in it, or even on the counter or something for some kind of still life shot, would be fantastic too.
Yeah. I love my smoke machine. Yep.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, that's it. So the next critique is going to be smoke. Troy, before we end the critique segment of this stream, this is going to be the edited part. Any final thoughts or things you'd like to share with the folks?
Have fun and be safe. We're in a state of the world where, we all have to be cautious with what we're doing, but, be positive, be creative, and be safe with what you're doing.
All right, perfect. Words to live by and to stay alive by. So we will thank you, everybody in the chat, for tuning in. We're going to continue streaming for a couple minutes after this, but this is the end of our recorded segment. If you'd like to participate, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or something or other, every Monday at noon-ish Pacific, noon-ish Pacific time, we do our live streams of the photo critiques. So feel free to join us. You'll find the link over on thisweekinphoto.com or just Twitch. Just search for This Week in Photo on Twitch or twitch.tv/thisweekinphoto. And you'll find this here stream. All right, that's it. And we'll see you folks next week for the strength critique. This is TWiP.